Biden, how involved were you in your son's Chinese shakedown text message? Were you sitting there? Were you involved?
No, I wasn't, and I don't.
Were you?
No.
Wow. Joe Biden lashing out at a reporter in response to a question about his involvement in his son's overseas business dealings with our foreign enemies. This comes after another one of Hunter Biden's text messages has emerged showing he demanded $10 million from a China energy associate, bragging that the Bidens are the, quote, best at delivering for the company's chairman. The walls are closing in, and judging from Grumpy Pants Joe Biden's response there, I think he knows it. Let's bring in someone who knows a lot about how suspects can behave when they're put under pressure. Former NYPD Commissioner and Newsmax contributor Bernie Kerik. Bernie, it's good to see you. You've been involved in your fair share of interrogations. You know, what's your read on Joe Biden's public responses now that, quote unquote, the walls are closing in?
Well, listen, you know, you can see him getting angry there. I don't know if he's getting angry because, you know, he knows he's guilty, or he's getting angry because he has no idea where he is and what he's talking about. This is a guy that, you know, he's talking about Putin, dealing with Iraq. You know, I put out a tweet today and I said, I think it's time for a guardian, a Leiden for Mr. Biden. Somebody's, you know, they're obviously not taking care of him in the White House. Joe Biden should be embarrassed to let this guy walk around the way he does. Somebody's got to take care of him.
Yeah, a lot of folks have observed that Jill Biden and the Democrat Party are committing elder abuse. And you know, it's all well and good if it was just Joe. I mean, not well and good, but it would be bad enough because it was Joe Biden they were abusing. But they're abusing the entire country as a result of all this. Until now, Joe Biden has been protected by the media, the Justice Department, and the FBI. In my view, they're going to continue to do so as long as the House GOP greenlights all of our tax dollars to fund all of these rogue agencies and their every desire. Isn't it time we stop funding agencies that are now aimed at harming our people?
Well, I think it's time they stop funding those agencies. I think it's also time that they start looking seriously, really seriously, at impeachments. You know, within the Justice Department, within the FBI, Joe Biden himself. I think the GOP has to step up their game and step up quick, because they're wasting time. They've got overwhelming amounts of evidence that there was wrongdoing by Joe Biden, by the FBI, by DOJ, and it seems like nobody's doing anything about it. And I think it's time for that to change.
Yeah, the Democrats didn't certainly hold back when they had the levers of power, and they made up all of their accusations.
That's exactly right.
As the Durham report actually revealed. A new DOJ watchdog report claims Jeffrey Epstein's suicide was the result of negligence and misconduct by prison officials who are under the purview of the very same federal government. The report says widespread disregard of Bureau of Prison policies and procedures led to the excess of bed linens being left in the cell, materials Epstein used in his suicide. The DOJ also claimed they did not uncover any evidence contradicting the FBI's determination there was no criminality connection with how Epstein died. You know, I've never heard a good explanation, Bernie, as to why the cameras were turned off on Epstein's cell. What do you make of all this? A whitewash?
Well, listen, as somebody that ran Rikers Island, the biggest jail system in the nation for 6 years, I can tell you that this was a major screw up in many, many ways. But their comments that there was no criminality, there was obstruction, there was changing of documents, there were things that happened by the officers that were actually on duty that were sleeping. If this was a police department, a municipal police department somewhere in the country, and they had the same types of issues, they would lock those cops up. They would arrest them. If this was a jail or prison system, a state jail, county jail in the states that was involved or engaged in the same behavior, somebody would have gotten arrested by the FBI. So I find it crazy that the Bureau of Prisons, which is, it falls under the purview of the Department of Justice, you know, Nobody's been arrested. No real disciplinary issues that I've heard of have been enforced on the people there, and these questions about whether it was suicide or not. Listen, I've seen people commit suicide in jails where they basically lay down, take a pair of socks, and strangle themselves. Can it happen? Yes. Is that what happened here? I don't think we'll ever know because, the cameras weren't working. The staff was asleep. It was like all these things that happen in the right way for there to be no accountability and no real idea of what happened within that cell.
And they wonder why we don't trust them anymore. Bernie Kerik, thank you very much, man. Appreciate the time.